This video is about why it's in the best interest of the Western Cape people to control their own borders. My name is Phil Craig and I'm the leader of the Referendum Party. We are fighting for a referendum on Cape independence which will place the Western Cape people in charge of their own destiny. As a party, we are strongly non-racial and believe that no one should be discriminated against based on the colour of their skin. Non-racialism is a founding principle of the South African Constitution, but sadly, in present-day South Africa, this is a farce. Our country is deeply racialised, our national government is determined to implement race-based policy at every turn, and our society habitually tries to silence those who promote genuine non-racialism by calling them racist. I am a non-racialist, and long ago I made a decision that set me free. I decided that I couldn't care less if people wanted to call me racist. I'm not going to be bullied into silence by a mob who haven't worked out yet that they are the racists and not me. I will answer to God and to my conscience for my actions. But as for the mob, the louder they scream, the more I like it. It just means that my words have found their target. I say all of this because when I talk about the Western Cape's borders, a lot of people are going to get very upset. But it's time that we have this conversation. This is a conversation that's already taking place at dinner tables, braais, school functions, in bars, and at pretty much every other meeting place in the Western Cape. And it's now time for us to have this conversation in public. Even without the howls of racism, provincial migration is a difficult conversation because different groups of people have different legitimate rights, and sometimes those rights come into conflict with each other. The character of the Western Cape is changing, and it's changing illegally. The rights of the Western Cape people are literally being trampled on, and rather than preventing this abuse, the national government is all but encouraging it. Why? Because South Africa isn't a country which actually believes in non-racialism. So instead, it is a country which believes in African nationalism. The majority of South Africans believe that South Africa belongs to Africans, and by this, they mean black Africans. Other races are at best tolerated and at worst are subject to the relentless racial abuse which very few are willing to call out as the racism which it truly is. 371 years ago, Jan van Riebeeck and 90 others landed in Cape Town and established a settlement. Today, this act would be illegal, but in 1652 it was not. He acted within the laws of his time. Despite this, the many coloured and white descendants who can trace their lineage back 15 generations to these early settlers are still vilified, called land thieves and told to go home. In contrast, over the last few years, nearly 1 million people have broken the law and illegally settled land in the Western Cape. They are quite literally land thieves, but nobody would dare to use this term. Helen Zille is still regularly lambasted for having had the audacity to use the word refugees more than a decade ago. The truth is that ordinary Western Cape people are furious about this illegal encroachment on their historical territory, which has irreparably harmed their environment, robbed them of resources, increased crime levels, and in conjunction with government policy, greatly disadvantaged them in the workforce. 30% of the current Western Cape population was not born here. Those migrating to the province do so in the pursuit of a better life, and there is nothing wrong with this whatsoever. I'm certainly not going to judge anyone for wanting to move to the Western Cape. For the record, I am one of the 30%. Those who take responsibility for their own future should be applauded and not condemned, but they must do so legally. Illegal land invasions extract a huge toll from the communities they affect, and it simply is not fair on those who are already here legally. At the Referendum Party, we propose, subject to the will of the Western Cape people, that the Western Cape closes its border with South Africa and implements strict immigration protocols which are non-racial and in line with international norms. Regardless of their race, all people must be welcome to come to the Western Cape, but they must do so legally and in a manner which enhances the quality of life for existing Western Cape citizens as opposed to causing them harm and distress. Our purpose at the Referendum Party is to create the conditions which will allow the Western Cape people to fulfil their potential, which will then result in the creation of a first world country at Africa's southern tip. This is only possible through Cape independence. If you'd like to find out more about the Referendum Party, then please visit our website at www.referendumparty.org or follow us on social media at @VoteReferendum. Thank you.